Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show. It's a big one, folks. It is a big one because guess what? Baker Mayfield is back. Baker is going to be cooking in Tampa Bay for at least, we're going to say 2 years, probably 3. And if everything really goes well, then it's going to be about 5 years, which will be absolutely fantastic. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show on this Monday. I'm riding solo today, so Nick is taking care of some of his family duties, and Timmy is out today, so it's myself. It looks like Tally's joining the show as well. We got some great guests for you today. Matt Matera is going to join us from the Pewter Report. And Chris Lugo will also join us at 11:45 to talk some whatever you guys want to better your health. Get your questions in the comments section. And if you want to ask any questions of Dr. Lugo, go right ahead because he'll be on 11:45, or Matt Matera coming up at 10:30. And, of course, if you guys want to talk about Baker, let's go. Your comments, your thoughts on the contract. Too much, too little, just right. We're going to get into the Mike Evans deal as well. Obviously, that press conference happened just after the show on Friday, so we're going to relive a little of that because I thought it was very illuminating for a lot of different reasons. So we'll hear from Mike Evans. We'll hear from Jason Light. Baker Mayfield obviously has not spoken yet. We don't know when that press conference is scheduled just yet, but the Buccaneers put out something really cool on their Instagram today, kind of a coming next little trailer to the Baker Mayfield press conference in the big press conference room. So I think I put that up on my Instagram as well. So go check that out. Really cool stuff. And if you're a Bucs fan, you could not be more excited. So we'll get into that. We got lots of Lightning stuff to get to. A huge 7-0 win on Saturday night was fantastic. Got some thoughts on that, exactly what happened in the 48 hours to turn around a team that had, by John Cooper's words, the most embarrassing loss and certainly of this season to maybe their most impressive team win over the Flyers, 7-0 on Saturday. So we'll hear from Coach Coop. And we'll also hear from the new guys, Anthony Duclair and Matt Dumba, who I thought added a great spark to this team on Saturday night. So any thoughts on the Bolts? Any thoughts on the Bucs? What's next for them? Where they stand right now? Big weekend in sports. Obviously, I pretty much took in all of it this weekend at the St. Pete Grand Prix. Joseph Newgarden winning that one. The Indy 500 winner just dominates the St. Pete Grand Prix. So we'll talk about that. If you were there, your thoughts on that as well. The Rays in the Dominican Republic and so much more to get to. A lot of NFL news will be breaking I'm not even going to use the term. I've boycotted the term. I'm not going to use the stupid term, the most idiotic term in sports. Legal tampering. I didn't say it. Still a little Joe Biden there, didn't I? Legal tampering. Hey, legal tampering. Stupidest thing in sports. So you're allowed to negotiate in a couple hours. We'll see where the deals go. It's going to be very interesting on the quarterback market. If you hadn't heard overnight, Russell Wilson is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. So how does that affect? I think probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, about a month ago, when we started this whole process, my thought was Baker stays in Tampa, which we're going to get to here in just a second. Ching, check. Mac Jones traded to Jacksonville. We predict. No, we didn't. It's just kidding. What the hell was that, by the way? Absolutely bizarre. So, yeah, I thought Kirk Cousins was going to stay in Minnesota. That hasn't happened yet, but I think it will. And Justin Fields to Atlanta. I still think all three of those things in terms of the quarterbacks will happen. We knew Russ was going to be gone. I thought Pittsburgh might be a spot for him because of their situation. Great culture, long-time culture. So Russ is going to have to fit in there. I gotta believe that Mike Tomlin's going to find a way to make, the numbers that Russ put up last year were really good. I mean, his quarterback rating was in the top 10 in the league. I think top 7 in the league at 96, 98, somewhere around there. 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I believe, right in there, 26 days, somewhere in there. They're really, really good. Top 5 touchdown to interception ratio in the league. So the numbers were there. Sean Payton just didn't like him, and I don't think Sean Payton's going to like a lot of guys because he's going to keep looking for a dude like Drew Brees. There aren't any. Dude was one of one. He was one of one. His work ethic, his competitiveness, the gamer that Drew Brees was it's just the total antithesis of what Russell Wilson has become. I mean, Russell used to be one of my favorite people in football. I thought he was grossly underrated coming out because I saw him beat up FSU when he was at NC State and then went on to Wisconsin. I thought he was grossly underrated, obviously because of his size, and I think he's had an incredible career. And if you look at his numbers, even over the last 4 or 5 years, they stack up with the best in the game. Now, am I out there beating the drum for the Buccaneers to go get Russell Wilson? No, I don't think he's a good culture fit here. I just don't think he is. Pittsburgh has a very, very strong culture. He will be forced to conform to that team mentality. And maybe he can teach Kenny Pickett a few things. I think that's a good fit there for Russell. I think that's a nice fit. And I think Justin Fields will be a great fit in Atlanta. I think that's happening. And as I transfer into the Baker discussion, let's start it off with this and things we tell you guys all the time, right? We've been doing this a long time. It's lying season. There's a lot of misinformation out there. People have been taking, the catfish hook so often this offseason, and Baker's a prime example. Oh, Atlanta's going to offer him $200 million. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's just Atlanta putting that stuff out there to drive his price up. Oh, the Patriots are coming for Baker Mayfield. They've got some connections. The guys in Cleveland were with him. He's going to New England. Does Baker fit in New England? No. Baker. He's not going to New England. In case you don't remember, the Cleveland days weren't all that great. Weren't all that great. Oh, when Kirk Cousins leaves Minnesota's coming hard. He's going to be a Viking. Justin Jefferson, look at the web. Why would he want to stay in Tampa Bay when he can go to Minnesota? Why indeed? Why the hell would he want to go to Minnesota? Are you kidding me? Come on. Baker was never going anywhere. How many times have I told you guys that since the end of the season? Baker's not going anywhere. He is joined at the hip across the board, or everybody on this team. I mean, I've been doing this a while, and one of the most important things you have to have, obviously, in a well put together football team, is a quarterback that fits the culture of the team, or maybe even more importantly, drives the culture of the team, is the identity of the team. And I'll never forget, going into that locker room late in the season, talking to Tristan Wirfs. And, and this is as the team was developing that chemistry. It was after the Jacksonville win. Great victory. And just destroyed that team. It was palpable. At that time, the Bucs had made their run, and they had developed a culture, an identity. Finally, what is the identity of this team? Well, it's a scrappy underdog, chip on your shoulder. Nobody counted. Nobody thought we were going to do anything kind of team. And as Tristan said to me, that's six. That's who he is. That's what we are. And man, you got to have a direction. You got to have an identity of a team, or you're not going anywhere. You got to step on the field, and everybody knows from the time that coin is flipped what the identity of this Buccaneers team is. Okay, not necessarily all the time does it have to, do you have a running football team? I mean, that's part of it. There's no question about it. But it's got to be more. What is in your soul? What is the soul of this team? Who are the leaders, right? What do they represent? And man, this guy's entire story has been, I'm the underdog, man. And everywhere I go, I win for the most part. I'm an underdog and I win. That's Baker Mayfield. Walk on, no, I think 2 or 3 Division I offers, FAU, maybe Oregon State, and he goes, I want to play in Texas. I'm a Texas high school kid. Walks on at Texas Tech, goes to Oklahoma, walks on there with all these, 5-star recruits, becomes a Heisman Trophy champion, some of the biggest wins in program history, becomes the number 1 overall pick. And then goes to, what a lot of number 1 picks do, go to crappy organizations. And then, gets bounced out of there. Look what they did. Look what the Cleveland Browns did. They went aggressively after Deshaun Watson with all that baggage. The dude's, a freaking 75 car load train of baggage behind him. And paid him a record guaranteed $240 million contract. And you got rid of Baker Mayfield. And you got exactly what you deserve crappy organizations get. And then Baker has to, he's damaged goods. And he goes to Carolina. Well, Matt Rule. Seriously? Didn't work out there. And people are like, oh, he couldn't even cut it in Carolina. Really? Then he goes to the Rams, pretty damn good organization. He's there for like 2 days, and he wins a freaking football game with 2 fourth-quarter touchdown drives. And then puts up 45 points the next week or 2 weeks. He had a nice run for just coming in there. And, of course, everybody at L.A. just lauded everything he did. They all want him back, right? Liam Cohen, his new offensive coordinator. So he comes to the Bucs on a just prove it deal, and I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. Start looking at Baker Mayfield tape, and I'm going, what's wrong with this guy? He can run, he can throw, he's tough as freaking nails. Looks like the guys love him. Talked to some guys in LA, and they're like, damn, he was fantastic. We loved him. We loved Baker. We didn't have Matthew Stafford here. If we could have held on to him as a backup, we would have. He wanted to start. We love Bake. Oh, okay. This guy's going to be good. In fact, not only is he going to be good, he's going to be better than Tom Brady. Better than Tom Brady was in his last year. Yeah, a lot of you laughed me out of the building. I heard it on other stations. Oh, Baker Mayfield's going to suck. Baker Mayfield's going to suck. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. He did pretty well, didn't he? He did pretty well. And I said, you look at, here's the numbers, by the way. Brady's last year, including playoffs, 8-10, yards per attempt, 6.3 to Baker's 7.4. Significantly better, Baker. And Baker's record 10-9, playoff win. Touchdown to interception ratio. Brady 27-10, Baker 34-12. Quarterback rating, Brady 89.2, Baker 96. Across the board, Baker was better, as we predicted. And he could have been a lot better. Obviously, because, there were a lot of drops. There were a lot of bad coaching decisions by his head coach in terms of how to manage games. New coordinator finding his way, did a great job, but, all this gets better in year 2 in year 3 and year 4, hopefully. And let's talk about so the story for Baker Mayfield is a one of an incredible comeback story. Resilience, learning, being self-aware, finding out what you do good, what you do bad, and adjusting, right? From the day he came here, that first press conference, when myself and others, we wanted to, throw out the line a little bit, see if he bites, See if he was going to bite on some of these questions about and show his, what I would say his preconceived notions of cockiness and arrogance. I think that's what everybody had that perception of Baker Mayfield. And it was somewhat warranted when he first came in, but he learned. He adjusted. He read the room. He's got some emotional intelligence. That matters. And he came to Tampa Bay and absolutely from day one, hanging out with the offensive lineman and his best buddy, stepbrother, Tristan Wirfs. Just absolutely endearing himself to the coaches, to his fellow players, out in the community, going to Lightning games, going to every charity event. Him and his wife did it all. Did everything he was supposed to do. And then he balled out. And he showed his team that he's gonna go for those extra yards. He's gonna play hurt. He's gonna do whatever it takes. What an absolute godsend for the Buccaneers. Great job by the front office identifying Baker Mayfield as the guy. Great job surrounding him with the players that he needed to flourish. And it all came together. And now Baker takes a deal. And let's talk about the deal for a second. In both deals with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. We've been predicting that this would be around a $30 million year, 32 million, somewhere in that range. I thought it would be 90 million guaranteed, somewhere in that range. More of a 3-year, a solid deal at 90 to 100 million guaranteed. So he gets basically 3 years, 100 million, with 60 million of it basically guaranteed. So but still undervalued, I think. I think tremendous value. And I'm going to go ahead and say this because they can't say it and they won't say it because the NFLPA will have a hissy fit. They took less money, both of them. Both of them took less money. Both Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, both of them, had they hit free agency, would have made more money. They would have had a longer term and more guaranteed money. Do I know that for a fact? No. Judging by all the sport track and what people were saying and where the interest was, and what I was hearing, yeah, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. There was more to be, they could have had more. So both of these guys took less to stay in Tampa Bay. And that has ripple effects, big time ripple effects. Maybe more than a ripple. These are full-fledged waves. So this allows Jason Light now, who, by the way, we'll get to Jason Light. What a hell of a job Jason Light has been doing. But this allows Jason Light now to have plenty of money left over to go do some other things. There's a few centers that are on the market, veteran centers now. The Panthers center was just released. You've got 2 or 3 starting centers, free agent centers. Ryan Jensen. I'm not saying they're Ryan Jensen, but that's when we went out and got Ryan Jensen, a starting center, and brought him in here for Brady, some guy with chops, knows how to play in this league, knows what it takes. So you got a few of those guys on the market now. There's money left over to go get a quality center. So you don't have to maybe pick one up in the draft and you can go to some other positions. That's a big deal. So both of these guys left money on the table to get Evans, to get Baker to get Antoine Winfield Jr. done, to get Levante David done, which I expect that shoe to drop next. Chase McLaughlin's a little bit different. Somebody may come after him. We'll see. But I know Light wants to get him back, but they've got some opportunity to go fill some more of these holes. And this really feels like something's building here. It really feels. Now, we can debate whether Baker Mayfield is talented enough to win a Super Bowl. He is. I mean, he is. There's no question in my mind. No question in my mind. Is he going to Patrick Mahomes you to the Super Bowl? No. Is he going to Tom Brady you to the Super Bowl? No. They're not. He's not a guy that's going to do that. Is he going to Brad Johnson you to a Super Bowl? Yeah. It's a great comp. Brad Johnson's a great comp. Tough as nails. Makes the great throws when he has to. Super intelligent guy. Owns the room. Teammates love him. Yeah. Very, very similar comp. Absolutely. And everybody said Brad Johnson can't win you a Super Bowl. Well, there's a few guys on that list, right? That weren't the first overall pick that have won Super Bowls. So Don't tell me he can't do it. Don't tell me he can't. No way. Don't tell me that. You're wrong. You're absolutely 100% wrong. Now, but you got to build around him now. And both of these contracts that Evans took at a lower value, especially for the next couple of years, plus the cap's going up, folks. You know, and these deals look great now. They're going to look better in the future. So both these guys took less money to stay in Tampa Bay. Don't worry about the roaches in the shower, folks. Guys love playing here. All right. They love playing here. Don't worry about the roaches in the shower. They love playing in Tampa Bay. They love their teammates. They love the weather. They love the tax situation. They love the city. They love the organization. They don't care about childcare for the most part. Some of them do. Most don't. All right. Whatever. So you got a setup now that really looks good. And Jason Light can go and fill these holes now. And meanwhile, everybody in the NFC South is chasing Tampa Bay. You've won 40 years in a row. You've been to the playoffs. Only NFC team to do that. And now you don't really have to take a rebuilding step back. You ate all the cap room from Brady last year and still went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. Now think about Baker Mayfield in year 2. Okay, new offensive coordinator, similar offense, guy he knows. All right? I don't think they're going to change much. They've said as much. But the continuity exists with the players, with your receivers. Year 2 with Mike Evans, year 2 with Chris Godwin, year 2 with Cade Otton, year 2 with Rush White. I mean, you've got Trey Palmer, David Moore. I want to see more of David Moore. I think they got him for 2 years. I'm not sure if he's a free agent or not, but if he is, bring him back. I want to see more of him. So you've got, you beef up the interior of that offensive line in the draft and free agency, add a really good running game, and I think you go out and pop a running back in this draft. Ray Davis would look really good from Kentucky. So you get another explosive back to help Rachaad White, right? And then you add a receiver as well and some interior linemen. Got to find an edge rusher. I think that's going to be, probably their first overall pick if they, depending on what they can do in free agency. So look, these two signings have set the Bucs up tremendously well. And, like we said from the beginning, Mike Evans ain't going anywhere. Baker Mayfield's not going anywhere. Relax. Jason Light, we trust. And a couple words on Jason. I was texting with someone this morning who knows Jason really well. And we were talking about what a great down-to-earth guy he is. I don't want to mention any names, but I've worked with, many general managers over the years, Tampa Bay and other places. And a lot of them are pretty full of themselves, to be honest. A lot of them are pretty full of themselves. They think very highly of themselves. It's clothes they wear, some of them, they think very highly of themselves. They're very much into themselves. Jason Light is the complete antithesis of that. He is the most Nebraska corn-fed former offensive lineman dude you'll ever meet. His persona just reeks of everyday ham and egger, let's have a beer dude. Like what you see when he's jumping in the pool and slamming beers, that's him. He's just a regular dude. And that resonates with the players. You hear Mike Evans talk, we're going to play the press conference. You hear Mike Evans talk about Jason Light? Like, I love you, man. Like that's real. That's genuine. And you'll hear the same thing from Baker Mayfield at his press conference. Don't know when it is just yet. Haven't gotten the email yet. You'll hear the same thing. That means something, folks. When you trust the guy at the top, when you know he's going to give you, he's going to be a straight shooter, and he's going to get the job done. The reason these guys are back is because of the relationships that Jason Light built. The reason Tom Brady came here, one of the reasons, he knew Jason Light. He had a connection to him. And anybody you ask about Jason Light he's a real Midwestern, down-to-earth dude. That matters in this because it's rare, to be quite honest, in the upper echelons of NFL teams these days. And I think he's a key reason that the Bucs obviously won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, putting that whole deal together. And now, again, making another run with Baker Mayfield. Jason Light has done a hell of a job and just continues to get the job done. And you could sit here and say, well, of course Mike didn't want to leave. That's not because it's a huge get for Jason Light. And he's a huge reason he's still here. Those relationships matter. And you can't develop the relationship when the negotiation time comes. All right. When it's crunch time, you can't, hey, let's go out to dinner. No. You build those things from the very beginning. Right? The day you come through the door, you make yourself known to these guys and you become, don't necessarily have to be friends, but you have to have a relationship, a trusted relationship. And that's what Jason Light has built here with Tampa Bay. And I think it's a huge asset. I think it's the reason he's gotten through some rough times, to be quite honest. The Glazers trust Jason Light. Because he's a guy that will readily admit his mistakes, which a lot of guys will not do in this league. A lot of them won't do it. He'll readily admit mistakes. He'll move on from his mistakes. But more than anything, he's a straight shooter. He's a down-to-earth guy. And I think it's a huge reason why both of these guys are signed. And I can't give enough credit to Jason Light for this and the whole organization. And you just think about it. You sit here right now, you got your quarterback, you got your receiver, future Hall of Famer, Buck for life, wants to be a Buck for life. And you've got so much more you can do. You got cap room. It's a great situation. All right. We will take our first break. Matty Matera from the Pewter Report is going to join us. He was at the Mike Evans press conference, so we'll get into that. We'll hear from Mike Evans. We'll hear from Jason Light. Want to relive a little bit of that. Thought there were some very important points in there to go to. We'll hear from the new guys for the Lightning as well. Anthony Duclair, Matt Dumba, and John Cooper on the big win on Saturday night. So much to get to here on this Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law. Oh, by the way, we're going to get to all of your commenters as well. So you guys lighten it up, and we will get to you guys. Thank you very much. So keep the comments coming. What do you think of the Baker deal? What's next for the Bucs? Anything you want to bring to the table on the Bolts, Rays, all that stuff? Hit it in the comments section. You can do that, by the way, on Facebook and on YouTube. Although I think our Facebook feed might be down this morning for whatever reason. They've been having issues. So go on YouTube. You can do it there, or always on Twitter at FanstreamJP. You can hit me up there as well, where you will find the show. All right, quick break. We'll be back with Matty Matera from the Pewter Report. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We're local, we're aggressive, and we get results. That is their motto, and that's what happens. Scott Jeeves, good friend of the program, great dude, has a local office in St. Petersburg and Tampa. So why go to some of these national bigger firms when you can go to somebody local who has a great reputation for getting big settlements and being aggressive on your behalf? That's the Jeeves Law Group. You hear them all the time on the show. Very approachable. Just give them a call. Contact them through the website at thejeeveslawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here from my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset. So make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative Charity is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
Lexi Thompson headlines as the Aramco Team Series presented by PIF comes to town. Featherstown Country Club plays host this March 8th through 10th as the best in women's golf compete for a $1 million prize fund. Secure your place now at AramcoTeamSeriesUSA.tixr.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Monday, this Baker Mayfield Monday, and we will welcome to the program a couple other M's here on this Monday. It's Matty Matera Monday on Baker Mayfield Monday. How are you, Matt, from Pewter Report?
I'm doing quite well. I like the alliteration you're bringing to the show, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. How are you, JP?
Never better, brother. A busy weekend when I was hanging out at the St. Pete Grand Prix, went over to the Aramco ladies event at Feather Sound, watched Lexi Thompson and some of these young players just hitting golf balls. Their swings are so awesome. And then watch them go out and play. So that was fun. I had a big Lightning game, man. I've been busy, bro. And then we get the Baker. We got Mike on Friday. We get Baker now, and it's been great. I mean, it's good to be in Tampa Bay, huh? It's a fun place to be.
Yeah, especially now, like with spring, like you just mentioned. I saw all your stuff on Instagram too. Yeah, you look very busy. But yeah, now's like the perfect time of the year. Free agency, so March Madness right around the corner. So
yes.
It's good times ahead.
Let's hope USF is a part of that. All right, let's get down to business. It's not a shock to you or myself that Baker Mayfield is back. I tell you what is a shock, and in both of these situations, and I just did this in my monologue, these contracts are well undervalued. And I will say this, and because the players can't say this, the NFLPA will lose their mind. They both took less money for the team. So the hometown discount is real. And it's not a hometown discount. It's two guys who understand what team means. They understand they need other players around them. They both want to win very, very badly. So they didn't have to break the bank for themselves, for their own egos, or their agents to go out and tout it. And they did it. And it leaves them with great flexibility. To me, that was the biggest surprise. Your thoughts?
The flexibility is absolutely key with what you just said there. And we've seen this before, whether it was Jamel Dean last season or Carlton Davis 2 years ago, or some of those other deals. And again, with Mike and Baker this time around, it's still like, my goodness, they did it again. And you can kind of understand it when it's like a cornerback in the market. But we're talking about starting quarterback and literally your greatest offensive player in the history of your franchise. And even on top of that, Mike maybe taking a little bit less money, or just, home is where the heart is and he wanted to be in Tampa Bay. You can kind of understand that. But, I was talking to you last week about this. We said it on the podcast a bunch of times about what is the number for Baker Mayfield that he'll be able to re-sign and that the Bucs will be able to match it. And then the fact that, they got it for what would be an annual value of like $33.3 million per year. And that cap number will even come down more because of the cap wizardry that the Bucs and Mike Greenberg and Jason Light like to do. To get it for Baker, I think was even more impressive than anything else because he should be in a bidding war right now or in a couple of hours from now when free agency gets going. So a key thing in all of this is the way that the Bucs structure their contracts. They obviously like to throw in a lot of void years, which I imagine we might see that with Baker or even something with like Antoine Winfield Jr. if they try to get to an extension. But like front loading that contract as well with all the guaranteed money. It's like, yes, it's a 3-year deal for Baker, but it's really a 2-year deal. And if they like what they've seen with Baker, it will be a 3-year deal. And that's so important because whether Baker replicates what he did last year or completely hits the floor or, turns into an all-pro quarterback, the Bucs are like locked and loaded for the next 2 years where they can keep it going and it's great. But if it flounders, they're not like completely screwed for, the next 5 years like other teams might be.
Yeah, and other teams already are. I mean, we see these horrible contracts all over the league.
Cleveland.
You
think they regret letting go of Baker Mayfield?
I talked about that in the monologue. I mean, but that's what bad organizations do, right? Mm-hmm. They make bad, rash decisions. Look what Denver did to get Russell Wilson. Just moronic. Yeah. I mean, but the Bucs didn't, they didn't go out and overpay for Derek Carr. They didn't go out to overpay for Deshaun Watson or overpay for so many of these players. They just, let's go find a guy. We can find a guy, and that's Baker Mayfield. And when you look back on it, Matty, and I said it before the year, I thought Baker was going to have a better year and the offense would be better than the last year with Brady, and that happened. And I think the Bucs were smart because they went out and they did their due diligence on Baker and said, this guy's a good fit. This guy's a really good fit. Was there a competition? I guess. Sort of. But I think, Canales played that right. Get the best out of both of your players. And I think they did that. But so the question is why do you think you watched the whole thing unfold with Baker?
Yeah.
Why do you think it was such a good fit? How did the whole season come together so well?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think to come back to the front office once again is their ability to kind of find the diamonds in the rough. I mean, year after year, I feel like we're giving Jason Light credit for finding that undrafted free agent that becomes a big thing. Even if it was like Cam Brate years and years ago and what he meant to this team, or even this year with guys like Christian Izzian that was an undrafted free agent, was their nickel corner for the whole season. And and so with Baker, I think it's a couple of things. One, just Jason Light's ability to connect with certain players. He garners a lot of respect, but he gives that respect as well. So I think something about Baker with having a chip on his shoulder and, his wearing his heart on his sleeve type of attitude really resonated with not just Jason Light, but like the whole Buccaneers offense and the roster itself. Because, we've seen Baker, he comes in here, he's not working out with like the receivers and the running backs during like calisthenics during warmups. He's with the defensive linemen. He's right next to Vita Vea and some of those guys on defense. So just finding the right personalities for the locker room, I think, was really important. And Baker just fit in right away, almost immediately. Baker getting to work with better talent with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think, played a huge role in this. And then Dave Canales, I know he's not with the Bucs anymore, but just finding a new offensive system and a style and having it tailor-made to Baker Mayfield. And, a little bit of luck kind of gets involved as well, but it just kind of created this perfect storm of great chemistry, great on-the-field play, and personal relationships that kind of make you want to fight for the guy next to you. And they found that with Baker Mayfield. And I think that was ultimately the recipe that had the Bucs proving a lot of people wrong last season.
I couldn't agree more. I hit on a lot of those topics in my monologue. And I think, the one word you said, and I think is important here, is relationships. And it's the relationship that Mike has with Jason Light. That press conference, which we're going to play in our second hour, that's real stuff. I wasn't able to get there because it was right at noon, but you were there, and it's palpable. It's like he loves Mike Evans, and Mike Evans loves Jason Light, right? I mean, this is, and that's a huge part of the reason he's still here.
Yeah, it was. It just seemed emotional, really, in a good way. I don't mean that in a negative way by any means. And again, that goes back to the relationships. Like, when you're a GM, it's a business. They say that all the time. And,
right.
But you can't help but have your emotions in it one way or another. And the fact that Mike was the first ever draft pick by Jason Light, that means a little bit more to him than it would any other player. And that's just reality. Like, how could you not feel one way or another? And I love what Jason said kind of early on. He was like, I didn't do a lot of things right that first season as GM of the Bucs, but I was right about Mike. So I thought that was great. And I mean, Jason embodies the team, really. The team embodies Jason one way or the other. And he picks his guys, and it doesn't work every single time, but when it works out really, really well. And another thing I'll give Jason credit for is when he makes a mistake with a draft pick, he takes his ego out of it, because there are a lot of other teams, they will draft the guy and it doesn't say, oh, just you wait, like he's going to work. No, Jason goes in right away, and I'll draft another player at the same position to make sure that that I replace it. Even drafting Logan Hall, and then bam, you get Kalijah Cansey not long after. That's just one of many examples for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I talked about Jason being that blue collar guy, and you know him pretty well. And I've worked with a lot of GMs in this league, and he's just a different type of cat in a good way. He's just not like, if you met him on the street, the last thing you would say is NFL general manager. If you met him in a bar, if you sat down and you could find him, at the Blind Goat or someplace, and just sat down next to him, you'd be like, oh, by the way, what do you do? Oh, I'm the GM of the Buccaneers. What?
I would have pegged him for
thought you were a plumber.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he just follows around Motley Crue and Poison all year long.
Exactly. And that's awesome. And I think that's great. I think, like I've always said, it's great. And I think it's important when kind of the quarterback embodies the culture of the city, which Baker does. The underdog, everybody craps on Tampa, right? Tampa Bay, nobody ever gives us a chance for anything. And we keep proving them wrong. That's him. And I think Jason's kind of the same way. He embodies, and obviously he keeps receipts.
He does. Oh my God. That video at the combine with the reporter, and he's like, oh yeah, I had you pinned to my office with your record and everything like that. Just when he hit him with the nice to meet you, at the end, or it's great to meet you after all of that, was so funny. Another thing as well is, and this isn't a prerequisite for any general manager or anything, but Jason's social media game, whether he's running it or someone else,
strong.
He's in the weeds. He's in the weeds. He's getting in the mud with other people as well. Not to the point where he's fighting with fans and fans of other teams as well, but he picks his spots, and they're quite comical. And again, it's not a prerequisite for a GM, but it's just something that you kind of tip your cap to a little bit, and shows that he is a bit of a different GM than everyone else in the league.
Matt Matera joining us here from Pewter Report. All right, so Mike's in the fold. Winfield is tagged. There's still two more out there that are the big five, right? And that's Chase McLaughlin and Levante David. What do you think's going on with Levante right now?
I think it's pretty simple. Levante wants to be back with the Bucs, and the Buccaneers obviously would love to have Levante David back. I think the whole thing for Levante is that it's got to be patience. Excuse me.
No worries.
Got to understand. Well, if you're the Bucs, you're telling Levante David, listen, we love you. We're going to take care of you, but we had to address Baker and Mike Evans first before anything else. And now that they got those done, along with Antoine Winfield Jr., making sure that he's still with the Bucs at least for one more season, but I think an extension will get done, by that deadline over the summer. Levante is certainly now a priority, and they need. I'm not breaking any news. They need Levante David on the defensive side of the ball, and the way that he's played, last year, the tackles he made, the tackles for loss, those were some of his best numbers since 2015 and 2016. So he's still
incredible.
playing at such a high level. I imagine that deal will get done. I don't think it's going to happen necessarily today, though. Nothing would surprise me with the Buccaneers. But, obviously Levante David's agent is going to say, hey, don't just say that you want the Bucs because we want to shop around to other places. But Levante's going nowhere besides the Bucs Ring of Honor and back to Tampa Bay this season. And then Chase McLaughlin, hey, he deserves a big payday. I'm not concerned about that miss a field goal that he had against the Lions in the playoffs. Outside of that, he was absolutely automatic.
Perfect.
Money McLaughlin, Chase Bank, whatever you want to call him, he deserves the pay raise. And the Bucs typically have shown if you do a good job and you're worth the money, they're going to bring you back. And I think he absolutely is.
I'm not an expert in capology here, but we don't have the actual numbers, so we can't really look and see how much cap room is left. I can't give you a number, but I know Mike's number is probably going to be fairly low. I think like maybe less than 20 million.
Yeah.
And I think Baker's, if they void out a couple of years, his number could be, lower than 20 as well. Imagine having, a starting quarterback that doesn't have a $60 million cap hit, Dak Prescott. And so there seems like there's going to be some money left over here to go out and get maybe a veteran center. I know the Panthers just released theirs and his name escapes me. Bozeman.
Yeah. I don't know.
So the Panthers released there's another guy that was released in his name. So there's at least 2 starting centers that are on that are PFF graded 15 or above. And I'm like, that to me would improve this offense dramatically because Baker, is a smaller stature quarterback. If you get pressure in the middle, it's even harder to see, right? If you can get that 4 to 5 yard pocket, it's so much easier to deliver the ball and see. And Hainsey's he was just overrun at times last year. It's just we love the dude, but ranked 32 out of 36, not getting it done. So I think that becomes a priority in free agency. You don't have to spend a ton, but I think you can go get one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. And I think Robert Hainsey is good in his role as a backup center, or maybe that first offensive lineman off the bench. And it's not his fault either. Like, he wasn't supposed to be the starter the last 2 years. That was supposed to be Ryan Jensen. He kind of got thrown into that mix. But to your point, the last 2 years when Robert Hainsey was the starting center, they were 32nd in the run game. And I know it wasn't Tristan Wirf's fault. I know it wasn't Luke Gedecke's fault last season for what he did at tackle. So you got to look at the interior for sure. A couple of free agents that were available. Aaron Brewer from the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, the Titans were in shambles last season, but he does come from a team that is very run heavy. And it's tough to be run heavy when you don't have a quarterback or a passing game, and that they're going to give the ball to Derrick Henry. And then the other one that I think people kind of perk their ears up a little bit more is Brian Allen, who played for the Rams. So the reason why Bucs fans might be a little bit more interested is because he comes from the offense that Liam Cohen was running and had worked with Liam Cohen. So there's obviously a little bit of that familiarity. So those are 2 names that definitely could be in the mix, especially for Allen. It really comes down to, and the Bucs don't have a crystal ball, but if Jackson Powers Johnson, the Oregon center, is available in the draft, then it's like, there's our center. We're going to take that guy
for the next 12 years.
Yeah, or Graham Barton of Duke, where they can move him along the interior offensive line as well. But the Bucs can't go into this saying, we're going to draft those 2 players or one of those 2 players in April, so we'll worry about that then and not address center. So I think center, there's definitely a couple of names that I think the Bucs should bring in, even just for a competition, if they do draft one of those guys that I mentioned, because you can always kick one out to one of the guard positions, which they might be looking for a left guard. The other position that I think the Bucs may attack during free agency, because there are more veterans being available by the day at this position, is safety. And obviously they got free safety figured out with Antoine Winfield Jr., but strong safety, there are a couple of names out there, maybe a reunion with Jordan Whitehead, which at one time I thought might have been a little bit too much based on what he was doing with the Jets. But now that more names have become available, that kind of knocks the price down for Jordan Whitehead just a little bit because it's not everybody just looking for him.
Great point.
And if you were going to take a strong safety, why not take a guy that knows the coach, knows the scheme, and has played with all of these players before? So
be awesome.
That would seem like a fit. He was on Twitter posting old Bucs videos as well, highlights of him. So
love that.
I think he would be open to the idea. So there are a couple of safeties that could be available. Xavier McKinney from the Giants as well. He's a young player that you can kind of really have for the next couple of years and build out that safety room. Just kind of depends on how much the Bucs want to spend.
Matty Matera joining us here from Pewter Report. Are there any tweener edge rushers out there in free agency? Guys, I'm looking at a Shaq Barrett type. I know they're hard to find, but somebody that's, maybe wasn't playing full time, but has some ability and proven some ability at the NFL level. Anybody out there like that would kind of be like a mid-level free agent, not Danielle Hunter, obviously.
Yeah.
But the lower level guys.
Yeah, there's a couple of interesting players two specifically that you wouldn't have to break the bank for. And
that's the guy I'm looking for.
Yeah, and it would be kind of a handshake agreement of like, hey, we need a better pass rusher, and you want to boost your not credibility, but boost your game where you're kind of betting on yourself for one season, and then it's kind of like what Jadeveon Clowney would do, where he'd like wait around, get a deal, and then try to play better, and then get a larger deal the next season. So a couple guys I've been looking at, one from the New England Patriots, Josh Uche he played at Michigan back in the day. His case is very interesting because 2 seasons ago, he had 11.5 sacks. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
It's awesome. Yeah,
double-digit sacks. I know the Bucs would sign up for that. Now, last season, and granted, the Patriots were abysmal, but he only had 3 sacks, but he plays sparingly. He's more of a third down, pin your ears back kind of guy.
Yeah. Could use that guy.
Yeah, but only played like 35% of the snaps. So I do wonder if he played a little bit more, would those sack numbers get up? Or just the mere fact of, hey, if he goes back to his 2022 form, that's a great signing right there. And his cap projection is only around like $7 million per year.
Yeah,
so
that's a perfect deal.
Exactly. Yeah. Another one is staying in the AFC East, Andrew Van Ginkel from the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
He's just a dude that is relentless, hustle over and over and over again, which I think would be kind of a nice fit for the Bucs defense. Bryce Huff is kind of the big name that everybody's talking about. I think the Bucs might not be in on that just because he's a little bit too expensive. But I think the Bucs should just go for a guy that, I don't care what they do stopping the run, just a guy that's going to attack that quarterback over and over again.
Agreed.
It's one thing they were missing was just, obviously you want them to sack the quarterback. That's the objective. But just to have that constant threat, like, here he comes again. And maybe he doesn't get there every single time, but you're thinking about it on third down, like, if he gets a good jump here, we're kind of done for. And they were really missing that last season where they could get it with some of the 2 guys that I mentioned.
And a couple guys that are on the roster, Jose Ramirez and Marquise Watts. And we've seen like just flashes of those guys. And I feel like, obviously Ramirez was hurt last year. Didn't really get a full shot. Can these guys make some, because they've had some moments.
Yeah. I'm high on Marquise Watts. I mean, going back to the preseason, and I get it, it's 4th string against 4th string and things like that. But when he had his moments, he was dominating those 4th string guys and like getting to the quarterback, hit after hit after hit. And then he had a couple of opportunities in the regular season, and he showed that he's got some great pass rushing moves. He's got a high motor, a couple different things that he can do to just consistently get after the quarterback and create some of that pressure. And one of his pressures last season led to a turnover. I believe it was in the Tennessee game. His problem was a couple of things. One, couldn't really do anything else at outside linebacker.
Right.
Obviously, in the Bucs defense, you're asked to drop back in coverage. You got to be able to stop the run if Todd Bowles is going to play you. And then also just kind of one of the things that we've knocked against Todd Bowles is that he's too late to make moves or kind of stick with moves. And Marquise Watts had some buzz going, and then they just stopped playing him. And I had to think that was a decision by Todd Bowles. So I think having more room in outside linebacker. I think the Bucs should not re-sign Cam Gill, who's just kind of taking up a roster spot that Marquise Watts or Jose Ramirez could take. I'd like to see a little bit more of Marquise Watts. I think he's got something special. And I'm not saying he's going to be the next Bryce Huff of an undrafted free agent that has a monster season like Huff did last year. But for a team that was lacking with the four-man pass rush, especially with outside linebacker, why not give him a little bit more of a shot if the opportunity presents itself? So I hope the Bucs do that this season.
All right, we got some breaking news. I don't know if that was your phone going off, but it looks like Rick Stroud has just reported that the Bucs have agreed to a 3-year deal with Chase McLaughlin.
Nice. Money back.
That's huge. Dude, that's huge. I mean, God, you imagine like every time we needed a big kick from that dude last year. I would say, I'd say maybe he was wins over replacement 2.5. Like, I think he won at least a lesser kicker. We probably don't make the playoffs. I think that's fair.
I agree. I mean, that game against Carolina, the last week of the season, I mean, he was hitting from the first game of the season to the last game of the season. He was hitting pressure like 55-yarders. And I know 55-yarders now aren't what they were.
No, that's a huge kick, man.
It's still a gigantic kick, but even against Minnesota, first game of the season, he had to hit a very long field goal to either keep the Bucs in front or give the Bucs the lead. So there are many times that they were just like, hey, can you kick this 57-yarder? He's like, yeah, I got it. So, that's another big move, big deal for the Buccaneers, especially with we'll see how this offense looks, but the points cannot be taken off.
Well, look, when you get a guy with that kind of leg, I mean, you get the ball at the 25, get 3 first downs, you're in scoring range. I mean, let's go. That's a big deal. I mean, with Suck Up, 45 yards, he was breathing hard, but he got the job done for what we needed at the time.
And Suck Up was necessary when you had the Tom Brady offense that would drive the ball down the field, and it would be a disappointment if you didn't score a touchdown. If you needed to make the kick, he was there to make the kick because it would be within 45 yards. Last year, you needed more leg, and McLaughlin was perfect for the role that he was in. And because he did it so well, he gets what he got now, which is a new contract for more money.
All right, so you know what this means, Levante, you are standing in between us and a boat parade.
Yeah.
Weren't we promised a boat parade? If all 5 got signed, it wasn't for the Super Bowl. It was like I said, it could be a mini boat parade. No yachts, just a little mini. We can just do a little mini boat parade, center consoles only. I think we can do that now. So come on, Levante. Jason Light promised. Now,
he did.
I don't know what's going to
I don't know if Jason meant like he would be throwing himself a boat parade for re-signing everybody.
No, this is going to be fun. We got a summertime thing here. We got to make this into a charity event, and I'm sure we will.
I like that.
Right? Let's make a little charity event. We're not being like over zealous here. We're not saying we're winning the Super Bowl, but our GM promised us a little boat parade if you got all 5 signed. So let's all go down to the convention center, drop our boats in or wherever. And, we do this well, right? We know how to do this. So that has to be a big one, just a little summertime, get everybody together. We'll have a little pre-boat parade, a little free agent. The band's back together. We'll call it the band's back together boat parade.
I like it. And invite Wayne Gretzky again, maybe get Wayne Gretzky into the mix. So
how about that story?
That was so cool. That was so awesome. Just being, first of all, Wayne Gretzky being like the first person to find out that Mike Evans resigned, I thought was great. And then the great one calling Mike Evans, oh, he's a great one. The great one calling him the great one. Game recognized game, right?
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, I know it's a different sport, but I'll take Wayne Gretzky's word for it.
And Mike Evans go, wow, I didn't even know Wayne Gretzky knew who I was.
Yeah, I like when he's just like, shout out Wayne Gretzky. All right, cool. We're
all right, bro, we're on a roll here. My God, what else could happen? Well, Levante could sign. Jason can have an inner tube parade on the lazy river. That is quintessential Jason Light right there. Let's all get, take our shirts off and jump in an inner tube. I think that's a great idea. Or Rainbow River. You ever been to Rainbow River?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
dude, you got to do it. You never done the rainbow? That's an actual real river, not a manufactured Disney river. You get it. You go to the state park. They put you grab an inner tube. They drive you up the river. They drop you off. You jump out in the inner tube. The water's like 72 degrees. So when it's really hot in the summer, it's nice, refreshing, and cool,
right.
crystal clear, and you just float down Rainbow River.
I love the idea. No,
That's a good one.
I haven't had the pleasure.
Yeah, you got to look that up. It's a great day on the water, especially in the summertime. Yeah, cheap too. All right, my friend, tell everybody what's coming up on Pewter Report, because I'm smelling a big Baker Mayfield post press conference podcast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got it 4 times a week at 4:00 starting today. We'll be breaking down more the news about Baker Mayfield and some of the other signings, such as Chase McLaughlin that just broke. And yeah, check out pewterreport.com. We'll have more about free agency. We'll have a free agency tracker for not just the Bucs, but all of the NFL. And yeah, we just keep the hits coming.
All right, Matty, great stuff as always, my friend. Appreciate you jumping on with us this morning. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Anytime.
All right, great. Matt Matera right there. So we got Chase McLaughlin now. So yeah, we're one signing away from a boat parade or an inner tube parade. Take your pick. I kind of like the idea of the tubing. That came from Rick. We'll give you great credit here, Rick. Yeah, that would be a good one. An adventure. I like the being out in nature though a little bit more. Rainbow River would be a really nice one. Good. We got the updates coming. I got all my reporters on it today. John Hill, Jacksonville Jaguars agreed to terms with former Bills center Mitch Morse. We need a center. I want to see a center. That might be Jason's next deal. And I can't see Levante going anywhere, right? I can't see Levante going anywhere. That's not happening. All right, we will take another break, and we will come back on the other side, and we're going to talk some bolts. But first of all, I'm going to get to your comments. So if you have a comment on Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chase McLaughlin, putting the band back together, what kind of boat parade we want to do here, have at it right there in the comment section. You can do it at FanStreamJP on Twitter, or you can do it in a comment section on Facebook, on the JP Peterson Facebook show, and YouTube as well. So any of those places, get her going on Twitter as well. So be back in 3 minutes with more from the JP Peterson show. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Did you know Steve Weintraub founded the Gold and Diamond Source over 40 years ago by selling gold-plated sand dollars? And to celebrate, the Gold and Diamond Source is selling gold sand dollar jewelry with the proceeds supporting Julie and Steve Weintraub's foundation, Hands Across the Bay. Yes, in 1984, Steve opened their first location, expanded to 9 stores as far as Atlanta, but now they've consolidated all that inventory under one roof, becoming one of the largest family-owned fine jewelry stores in the country. Julie, of course, joined forces with her husband 20 years ago, and they're going to celebrate by offering up to 40% off select jewelry items. Plus, with gold prices near all-time highs, it's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. Unlock the value in your jewelry box today at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's always one place, and it's always a great place. The Gold and Diamond Source celebrating their 40th anniversary, 3800 Olmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Monday. I'm riding solo, but we had Matt Matera on. We're going to have some of the Mike Evans press conference here in this hour. Also, Chris Lugo is going to join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So if you have any health questions, nutrition questions, testosterone questions, immune system questions, vaccine questions, any of that stuff, drop them here in our comments, and we'll get it to Chris when he comes on at 11:45. So, yes, the breaking news, Chase McLaughlin signs a 3-year deal. Do not have numbers on that. But once again, as we kind of stated from the beginning of this, because we try to advance the story, right, folks? We know Baker had signed. So what does that mean? What do these signings mean for the Buccaneers? Well, first and foremost, it means that both of these guys took under market value deals. That's my opinion. But I think it's shared by many that are in the know and paying attention to where the market goes. I mean, go look at these quarterback deals. Kirk Cousins now, by the way, is going to hit free agency. Minnesota has announced that they're not signing him now. You can always come back and see what the market is. But the word is that the Falcons are all in on Kirk Cousins, a 35-year-old quarterback who's never had any playoff success and is coming off an Achilles injury. I love me some Kirk Cousins. I mean, the dude on the quarterback Netflix special, how do you not love him? I mean, he's got tons of Kohl's cash. The dude, his wife dresses him. I mean, he's a great dude. We all love him. But I'm here to tell you, I'm just, and you can call me crazy. You can call me crazy. But if they sign Kirk Cousins, that's going to be a hefty deal, and it's going to make the Baker deal look like tipping money. Okay? They're going to sign him. They're going to overpay for him, a damaged older quarterback. Yes, who's got some good seasons behind him. He can throw the football. There's no question about it. Okay? Would you rather them sign Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields? I'm going to tell you this. You ask anybody on the Buccaneer defense, they'll say Kirk Cousins. They don't want to have to defend Justin Fields. No way. Not for another 6 or 7 years. Justin Fields would be cheaper. They could add a lot more players. He's obviously much more athletic. He had 26 touchdown passes and 14 interceptions last year. That's not bad. It's actually pretty damn good, especially, since he was starting to get comfortable in that offense. 1,000-yard rusher. I think he's 14 rushing touchdowns in the last couple of years. The dude, I mean, I know he's not the most accurate. I know Kirk Cousins is a better pocket passer. I know all that. But with the weapons that the Falcons have, and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algiers and Kyle Pitts and Drake London, the tight end, I mean, they've got weapons. A decent offensive line. Yeah, Kirk Cousins can distribute, I know. But in the run game, he's non-existent. You don't have to defend it. It's not there. With Justin Fields, you do. In a big way. Like I'm in a run pass option, RPO situation. If you're a linebacker, and first of all, you better meet Bijan Robinson in the hole square up. Because if you don't, if you're a half a second late, you ain't tackling him with an arm tackle. You got to meet him straight up. So when those two are meshing and he comes out and who's got the ball, and you got to wait a half a second to see who's got the ball, good luck stopping that. That's going to be a handful for any team in that offense. So if the Falcons sign Kirk Cousins and overpay for him, go for it. Go for it. I'm okay with it. Other than, I may be in the minority. You guys tell me how you feel in the comment section. But I'm, if that's where this is headed, it looks like that's where it's headed. I'm okay with it. I think the Bucs, and I think the Bucs are as well. All right, let's get to some of the comments here before we get to some lightning talk. Jeremy Lowe pre-gaming with JP before the tampering starts. Can we not say tampering? The ultimate oxymoron, legal tampering. So stupid. Good morning, John Hill. How are you? Pat Maroon traded to the Bruins. Bolts play Boston on Wednesday, March 27th. Someone will need to fight the big soft unit. Patty Maroon to the Bruins, huh? Wow. Huh. Interesting. Well, they're going to love him in Boston, boy. Ooh, they're going to love him in Boston. John Hill says, Ray's DeLuca sustained a broken hand. Yes, he did. Haven't got to my Rays stuff yet. Yeah, that sucks. 4 to 6 weeks for Johnny DeLuca. But I tell you, this Ahmed Rosario playing right field now. They've got him out there. Josh Lowe, freaking hip injury. Oh, it'll be a week. Why do these Rays week-long injuries always turn into Tommy John surgery or the whole season, right? I never trust their initial reports on these. Yeah, Yeezy, you're surprised Baker didn't demand Daniel Jones money. Seems like he took less. I told you the whole time, Yeezy, that he wasn't doing that. All these people, he wants $44 million a year. When that came out, I told you people, it's not true. It's not true. That's just the Falcons and other teams trying to drive the price up. Baker Mayfield's agent wasn't out there demanding $44 million a year. It was stupid. But y'all bite into everything this time of year. You got to don't listen to a word people say, at this time of year. You know what I listened to when I watched Baker Mayfield, the way he conducts himself here, the way he endears himself to his teammates and the community. He wasn't leaving. He wasn't going He wasn't going, I think people are so used to every athlete just chasing the bag, I for good reason. I think you just automatically assume that every guy's going to chase the bag. The quality ones don't. Tom Brady never did. The quality ones don't chase the bag. They're more interested in winning. And when you tell me you're interested in winning and then you leave money on the table to sign your kicker, Chase McLaughlin, then it's not about what you're saying. It's about what you did. Look at what people do. Look at what they're doing, the moves they make. That's where you could tell where things are going. He wasn't going to chase the money. Yeezy also says Kirk to Atlanta, Justin to the Vikings. Book it. I thought it was the other way around. I really did. I thought Justin would be a better fit. I guess Cousins wants to move to where his in-laws are. Probably thinks Justin Jefferson is going to be gone. So go to Atlanta. It's kind of a really good offensive line, lots of weapons. Not a bad move for him. And probably fits better in Atlanta than he probably did in Minnesota. Rick jumping in here. Love you, brother. No beach bars in Minnesota, nor New England or Atlanta for Baker. Duh. He loves that PCI. Yeah, baby. Beach bars. Who wants to go to Minnesota? By the way, who wants to go to Atlanta? Hey, sorry, Atlanta, friends. I was there for a couple of years. Loved it when I was there. I don't think it's a place I really want to be now. The traffic is just unbelievable. Christopher Cole, ESPN is a joke. The whole Get Up show, all they talk about was Russ. Yeah, I know. I noticed that. Like the entire, not like 2 words about Baker. I heard, I think it was Orlovsky. I think I wrote it down. Just basically say that Baker's a great fit in Tampa. They're the class of the NFC South. He said they're far and away the best team in the NFC South. And I agree wholeheartedly. Well, let's see what let's see what the Falcons do at quarterback. Obviously, that's going to be a big deal because they got a good roster. They definitely have a good roster. Yeezy says Baker's going to see more 6 jerseys at Raymond James than at any year at Cleveland. Yeah. And they're going to be more 6 jerseys than 12s, which will be good. Moving on. Browns or dumpster fire. Oh, yeah. News flash, Carolina will be trashed for the next 5 years. Yep, that's what happens when your owner makes the draft pick. You're a crazy-ass owner. Thomas Casper says, we need an incredible OL or Baker will be Randall Cunningham redo. Look, we need an upgrade. We still have I think, top 5 tackle tandem in the league. And Cody Mauch really came on at the end of the year. He was a little overwhelmed early on in the season. but really came on. He'll have another extra year in the weight and nutrition program, probably put on a good solid 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds because he's athletic, man. He could really turn into a really, really good guard. So you just need the center and the left guard thing figured out. Stinney was okay at left guard, but you can upgrade and, go get one of these experienced centers that are on the market. That's where I would go. Rick says, go get Bosa from the Chargers. Yeah, we're not going big game hunting. James says your reporting was spot on, capital letters, Reed Baker, unlike other local media outlets. Thank you very much, James. Appreciate you. And I know you know. Bozeman at center. Okay, like that, Jeremy Lowe. Lonnie Wilkins says Baker did the things athletes do less and less, as you said, by going out to Bolts and Rays games, not to mention being an absolute pit bull on the field. There's a good vibe and high tides lift all ships. Absolutely. We've been kind of chronicling this all year long, right? About what Baker was doing and how he was endearing himself to the community and his teammates. So I think, and you just see how that is organically led to him staying here for less money. That's why I was so adamant that he wasn't going anywhere, folks. It just did not fit. Lonnie Wilkins says, makes it super easy to root for the guy as a fan because he feels like a part of the Tampa Bay community. Lonnie, is that kind of a backhanded shot at Brady, who never left the compound? We love Tom. Tom was awesome. Thanks for the Super Bowl, but I like Baker getting out in the community and doing all these things. I really do. Lonnie says, we have a strip club with a UFO. How the hell could you not love Tampa Bay? Boom. Boom. Recruiting. You got to have those things. I mean, when you got a spaceship 2 blocks from the freaking, from the stadium, it's not a negative. James says, yeah, well, Baker wasn't expecting Bucks to cover his personal business loss of 12. I think when Scott was talking about that, it was more of just a mindset thing. But yeah, Baker was not going to chase the bag. I was absolutely certain of that. And I do think he would have got a lot more money. Maybe. Rick, yeah, we said this. Jason could have an inner tube parade on the lazy river at Adventure Island. I think that's got great possibilities. Rainbow River might be a little bit too far for people to go, but it would be awesome. Much bigger, out in nature, like the real deal. Or we could do just a little boat parade too. Like a boat parade mini. Not sure how that would work, but like we could, have to have no yachts because it's a Jason Light one, right? It's, center console, fishing boats, little Boston whalers, no yachts allowed. None of you big money people. Sorry. We put that. Jason Lonnie Wilkins says, what's the kayak area with the monkeys? That's where it should be. Yeah, kayaks, paddle boards, Boston whalers, everything, anything under 20, what are we going to, let's say 23 feet. Got to be 23 feet and under to be in the boat parade because it's not a Super Bowl boat parade. It's not a Super Bowl. We have to differentiate. This is just a preseason, summertime. We put the band back together, Bucks pep rally, little boat parade. Yeah, we'll hang out. We'll meet at Beer Can Island, which is for sale. So the Glazers buy that. And then we'll all meet up at can you imagine? Can you seriously? It's, $25 a boat, right? You register and we all meet at Beer Can Island for a big Bucks pep rally. Jason Light, will be the king, put a grass skirt on him, like do the hula thing. Right? He'd probably do it too. Yeah. And we raise lots of money for charity. And it'll be like a Bucks. We put the band back together pep rally. This is getting better all the time. What else we got here from you guys? Baker has more playoff wins than the elite Kirko chains. That's right. Seriously, 35 years old, coming off an Achilles injury. And Atlanta what are they going to sign him for? If they're taking him from Minnesota, it's got to be big money. And this is a guy that been used to making $45 million a year. He ain't taking 30 like Baker did. So what's that deal going to look like? 175 guaranteed? 200 guaranteed? What if he tears his Achilles again? Here comes Desmond Ridder. Not wishing that on anybody. We love Kirk Cousins, but, it is the Falcons. TJC22 says Kirk is deciding between Minnesota and Atlanta. All he wants is the most guaranteed money. That's it. Whomever offers that gets him. See, there you go. There you go. Chase the bag. Chase the bag. Never works out. It never, I won't say never, but give me the guy who's taking less for his team so they can put more people around him than the guy chasing the bag. I'm just saying. TJC says Fields is S out of luck. If Kirk goes to Atlanta, he has no market. None. Which is surprising to me, man. And I know, TJC, you don't like Justin Fields, for what, I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think I remember you tweeting some stuff about his numbers. I gotta give him a better shot. His numbers were good last year. I got to give him another shot in a different situation, much like Baker. People thought Baker was trash. Put him in a different situation, a better offensive-minded team than the Chicago Bears. I mean, if you're, I heard, I think it was Damon Woody say this morning. Said if you're an offensive head coach in this league, and you can't come up with a scheme to make it work for Justin Fields, come on. Isn't that what coaching's about? Isn't that what coaching's about? You can't find a way to make it work with Justin Fields with that talent. He's to me, you know who he is? He's Cam Newton. Cam Newton won an MVP and went to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but he hadn't a bust either. He won an MVP. You can't make Justin Fields into Cam Newton. I think you should be able to. You should be able to. And like I said, I wouldn't want to, with those weapons they got in Atlanta, I wouldn't want him there. TJC22 says Kirk leaves for Atlanta. Minnesota will trade up and take J.J. McCarthy. Interesting. It's kind of a good fit. Michigan, yeah. Likely with New England, who I expect to trade back and bring in Jacoby to run things for a year. New England's just a dumpster fire, aren't they? God, they trade Mac Jones. What is that all about? Like you drafted him. Even if you're bringing in another quarterback, don't you want him on the bench? Unless he just, said, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be here, which if I were him, I would do. Yeezy says, feels like Oakland might be a dark horse for Fields, the Raiders. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to say this. Justin Fields is a starting quarterback next year. Everybody says there's no market for him. No, I think Justin Fields starts week 1 next year. I don't know where. I'm not sure, but I think he starts week 1 somewhere next year. Who think Bucks go after free agency? I think we covered that. A center, second level edge rusher, safety, Jordan Whitehead. These are going to be mid-level deals, but you can go get 4 or 5 of these, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3 to 4, because of the money that Evans and Baker left on the table. They can't do that in Atlanta. They're signing Kirk Cousins. I mean, they already got a good roster, but it won't be they're going to have to start jettisoning guys as they come into their own. Lonnie Wilkins says, we saw more UFOs during Brady's time here than actually seeing Brady in Tampa Bay. That's true. He said, I loved him here. I have a 12 jersey, but I'm going to get my All-Star jersey out first. No, I think there's a lot of people that'd be right with you. Jeremy Lowe says $12.3 million, a 3-year deal for Chase. Yeah. See, there it is, folks, right there. That's $4 million a year for the kicker. Well worth it. But if Baker takes the extra $12 million, extra $4 million, $5 million, you don't have a kicker. Mike takes the extra $4 or $5 million if it's 26 a year instead of 21 a year, which is what the deal really is. There's your kicker right there. Smart guys who want to win, Chase the bag, Kirk Cousins. It's all yours. Guys here want to win. Hate saying that about Kirk Cousins because he's such a down-to-earth guy. But that's what, if that's what he's doing, then you'll reap what you sow. Or you won't reap what you sow. TJC says, I could tell you there are people in his camp that did not appreciate the attempt from some outlets that he was asking for $44 million. He was trying to recoup losses. Yeah, I mean, that never no, just in terms of him chasing the bag. The $44 million thing was, as soon as I heard that, I'm saying that's not coming from his agent. That is not coming from Baker, and it's not coming from his agent. That was, again, misinformation. What else we got here? Just loving all your comments. Thanks, guys, for jumping in. 12.3 for Chase. We don't know the guarantees just yet. Lonnie says Bucks on the pirate boat at Clearwater Beach. That's the cheesiest pirate boat ever, by the way. If you don't have a Woodhull pirate boat, that steel pirate boat, they got to do a better job than that. That thing just does not look like a pirate boat. I'm not buying it. I need some cannons. I need some wood. I need a sail. Rick says, any truth Baker demanded a bar behind $1 place. Russ got an office. Yes, Baker asked for a tiki bar out back and for everybody to hang out at. Maybe. TJC says, I don't hate Fields. I'm just honest about his game. All right, you want to take that bet, TJC, that he'll be a starting quarter? Yes, bet is on. 6-pack of your favorite. We're on. All right, I say Justin Fields will have a starting job next year. You say no, right? All right, I want some what do I want? How about I want some Unholy from Copperhead or Coppertail Brew. Give me some of that triple Unholy. That stuff is fantastic. Lonnie says, pivoting here to the Rays, notice they never mentioned Stu sandbagging this thing for over a decade. I'm not going to do any Rays Stadium stuff today because of Baker and Mike, but I'm going to get into that for sure. $100 to your favorite charity. $100, do that too. Your favorite charity. Throw in the beer too, though. Yeezy says, don't get JP started on Stu. Not today. God, we're not doing it today. Lonnie says, pirate boat with Hooters girls on the ship. You're making it better, but we got to get a real pirate boat. I don't like that one. We need a better pirate boat. James, Bucks Rays Bolt says, Bucks get Clowney or bring Barrett back. I'll take Clowney. Coward bias for Caleb as why he trashes Fields all day. Yeah, probably. TJC says, you want to do alcohol? I'm good with that. I'm more of a donate to charity on friendly bets. Either one's fine with me. That's all good. All right, great comments today, guys. Thank you so much for jumping in here with the comments. Since I'm solo today, I can chat with you guys that way and really appreciate it. All right, quick break. I promise you we're going to get to the Mike Evans stuff and to the John Cooper stuff right after this because I'm trying to find my breaks right here. I'm doing all this on the fly, you people. So back in 3, Chris Lewis will join us as well. So get your questions and comments in for any medical issues you may be having. Stay with us. Quick break. Hey, it's a great time to buy a house and get a mortgage with American Mortgage Services. Okay, I got your attention now. But JP, rates are at 8%. That's true. But I spoke with our friend Scott Fitzgerald at AMS Tampa, and this is what smart people are doing. Rates peaked at 8% last month, but they've come down, and AMS recently locked some folks in the high 6s. Prices have also stabilized or dropped in some areas. So if you're going to eventually buy, now is the best time to get the house you want. Fitz will get you the best rate out there, shopping it around to dozens of lenders, and when rates come down in a year or so, and the frenzy begins again, prices go bananas again, you will already have the pick of the litter. Then he will refinance you and keep costs at nearly zero because that's what they do at AMS Tampa. You're back at 4% in the house you wanted while others fight the frenzy. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, NMLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. TrueBody offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Lexi Thompson headlines a star-studded field as the Aramco Team Series presented by PIF comes to town. Feathersound Country Club plays host to golf's most innovative format this March 8th through 10th as the Ladies European Tour makes the trip across the pond. As Megan Kang and two-time major winner Brittany Lincecum add to the American star power, Europeans Carlotta Singata and Charlie Hull aim to spoil the party. Secure your place now at AramcoTeamSeriesUSA.tixr.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Monday. Baker Mayfield has agreed to terms, as we've been talking about all day long. Chase McLaughlin now, they got their kicker, so we're Levante David away from our boat parade. By the way, I was mistaken. So you weren't talking about the pirate ship, the for-hire pirate ship, the metal one. You were talking about the actual, like, Ye Missed a Crew Gasparilla boat. So we're going to commandeer that for the boat parade? Well, then it's Gasparilla, right? Then it's like, if we do that, then it's all Gasparilla. We were looking for something different. But we could, instead of putting all the pirates on there, put the actual Buccaneers on there. So that would be kind of cool. I don't know if they've ever rented out the what do they call that? The Jose Gaspar. I think they call it the Jose Gaspar. If they've ever rented that out, it's been part of the boat parades, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If it hasn't, it should be. So, yeah, I think we need to get planning. I know that's for damn sure. John Hill says boat parade has to include 24-footer James V of FSU boat. Okay, we'll move it up to 24. That's fine. That's good. All right, wanted to get into a little Bolts talk here. Big win Saturday night, 7-0 over the Flyers. What a game. What a crazy carnival it was. John Tortorella gets tossed from the game because he does a freaking Wolf of Wall Street. He gets tossed from the game. He's like, I'm not effing leaving. And he's not leaving. He's just like, I'm not going anywhere. So they finally – and what funny part is, the whole 2014 was there because of Andrew Chuck and Brad Richards going into the Hall of Fame. So they're up in the suite, and Bally's takes a cutaway, and they're all watching the broadcast because they're showing Torts, close up. I tweeted it out, by the way. It's on my Twitter or my Instagram, I think. About you can just see just Tortorella going off, and the guys are just laughing. The 04 team is up there just laughing. I had Andre Waugh come on in our intermission report, and Andre's like, yeah, I'm laughing because Torch was always like, Andre, you got to play under control. You can't lose your composure out there. He's like, look at Torch. I'm like, yeah, fantastic. So the Torch gets tossed. The Bolts come out with a couple of power play goals in the first, Braden Point, Stammer. I mean, they just and I thought the play of the game was Stammer blocking a shot and then going the other way. It was about 2 strides behind the defenseman, catches him down the ice, fights for the puck, takes a shot, misses it, but then passes it back. And Duclair is there on the back door just waiting for it to get his first goal. as a Lightning. And Matthew Dumba, who comes here, his first game, he drops the gloves. And I thought Duclair playing with Stammer and Cirelli was absolutely fantastic. He adds that speed, that toughness, that fire that we've been talking about all year long. This team is just kind of lacks the emotion and fire. And then Dumba, a really experienced, strong guy on the puck, is going to help this blue line. So I don't think it's, this is a Flyers team that went into Florida and beat the Panthers 2-1. Okay. It's a good Flyers team. And the Bolts just absolutely destroyed them 7-0. And Vasi gets the shutout. He faced 5 high danger chances, made all the big saves, 15 scoring opportunities, gets the shutout. We need Vasi to be Vasi, not the 878 save percentage that we saw for a little bit there. And then, Dumba can come in and really add something. Now, Chernak got hurt. We're not sure exactly what his situation is. But what a great night was had by all. And Darren Radish, 5 assists by the defenseman for a franchise record for defensemen. It was just a great night, all in all. Hell, even Willy Wonka showed up for my intermission report. I don't know where the hell he came from, but that was fun. So wacky night at the rink, a 7-0 win. Now the Bolts will have some time off, but they can practice. Duclair and Dumba can practice all week. They've got another 4 days before their game against the Rangers come to town. So they got the 2 Eastern Conference leaders, Rangers and Panthers, and every point is a must. But that's a big win. Let's listen to the guys after the game. This is first Duclair, Dumba, and then Cooper.
Here, how are you able to put aside I just got traded and everything that comes with it and just focus on the game at hand?
Guys in the comments, tell me if you can hear
easy.
it.
When you got you're looking down the room, guys like Stammer, Hetty, Vasi, it's real easy to be motivated and get right out there and playing winning hockey. So obviously all these games count, and we won all these points. So down the stretch. So just really excited to be here. Obviously been thinking about this moment for a little bit now since I got traded. So just happy the way the night went.
Can you take us through that first goal?
Yeah, great speed by Stammer there to win the puck battle. Puck was in the corner, and I just wanted to get to the net. I know I've seen him enough times making those backdoor plays, so I didn't have to do much, just put my stick on the ice, and what a great pass.
You talked earlier about what it's like playing against these guys, all the battles that you guys had in Florida, but what is it like now having them on your side and actually seeing that?
Yeah, it's great. A little weird at first, but no, it's great. I'm happy to be here. Obviously, really excited, and just the position that we're in, and hunting for that playoff spot. And obviously, battling against these guys, I know them pretty well, and it's just a matter for me of learning the system really quick, and getting adjustment to my line mates, and finding that chemistry.
Being on this side, did anything surprise you about the Lightning, or did you learn anything new tonight?
Now he's on our squad.
I just seeing them playing against them. Obviously, tons of skill, tons of talent. They play a fast-paced game that plays right into my strengths. So, exactly what I thought was going to happen, and it was a great win tonight.
How was it playing with Stammer and Tony there? How long do you think maybe it takes for chemistry to get going? And when did you start feeling comfortable out there?
They made it easy for me right away, to be honest. Even before the game, just talking and going through some pointers, and they've been awesome. And I think after the first period, the jitters kind of went away, and right where I went, just another game. And like I said, it's going to take a couple games to maybe find each other. But I think it was a good start.
Did you sense the energy in the crowd at all today, especially after you were announced when getting the assist? They really gave you a loud ovation, and obviously they're used to going the other direction when they're seeing you in a Florida uniform. But I was wondering if you sensed that and heard that.
Yeah, definitely heard that. Heard the Duke chants, and it was amazing. And never thought I'd hear from Tampa Bay Lightning fans. But listen, like I said, I'm just happy to be here, and I know they have a great fan base here. Obviously, battling against these guys for the last 10 years, it's a great crowd, and as an opponent, it was always a tough building to play in. So I'm just happy I'm on this other side of it now.
Welcome to the Lightning. What did you think of your first game in a Lightning sweater?
First game, for me personally, just simple. Pretty simple systems, and guys are awesome around here, communicating, making sure I understand what I got to do shift to shift. So it was a good first one.
Can you talk about how comfortable you felt out there? You didn't look uncomfortable, but it's hard when you just come in today.
Yeah, I had to get the body going before, and just kind of talk myself into that. But no, coming to a team like this, it's so exciting, and I was pumped for the opportunity to play today.
Taking that first goal, the first Lightning goal off the captain there, that had to feel pretty sweet.
Yeah, those guys are. It's fun to watch. It's nice to be on this side. That's for sure.
Anthony mentioned this morning how excited he was to be on your team. What's the excitement level for you with that?
Yeah, I'm pumped. We've talked about it for years. Had some good summers together. Been boys for a long time now, and for this to happen is just unreal.
What was today like for you? When did you get in, and how much time did you really have to kind of get ready for the game?
I think Wheels touched down around like 2. Probably got the bags at 3. Got here at 3:30. Got a little bite. Laid down for 15 minutes, and then had a couple coffees and got to it, and just meeting everyone and trying to get settled in.
And they're out playing.
Right on.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, we needed that one. A lot of things went our way. We got that early one, and it was a good boost for our power play as well. At some point we were going to have to break out. We probably, for us, had gone a little dry in the last 10 games or so. So it was great that they took advantage of those early penalties that Philly took, and you get that lead, and we're at home. It was a big thing for us to try and lock that sucker down. But I know the Flyers didn't score, but they pushed and pushed and pushed kind of that last half of the first and a lot of the second period. So you got to give Vass credit for shutting the door, because Philly didn't quit.
Your impressions of Anthony and Matt in their first game in a Lightning uniform?
Yeah. Well, what can you say? Matt comes in and brought instant energy to our group, gets in a fight, and just kind of did a lot of things that we need back there. He competes really hard, and
somebody's ass.
Dookie, he was he came as advertised. I mean, he can, when he's playing, he can really add a dimension to our top 6, and I think he showed that tonight. He beat out icings. He's blessed skater. I mean, he can get around the ice, and then he showed you his hands, and especially on his goal. That's not a lot of people can score that. And I mean, it was a great pass by Stammer, but still somebody has to tuck that in, and he did. So it's they've been 2 guys that I thought really helped us.
Tonight, obviously with 5 assists.
Yeah, we were just talking. That was like the quietest 5 assists I think I've ever seen. I don't even know if I remember hearing his name. One of the guys joked after, they may have announced after the game, yeah, we're changing the score on 5 of the goals and adding Darren Radish. But I thought like I said, this was a team effort, and I'm glad Ratty was rewarded. He made some really great plays. Some of those were on the breakouts coming out, and he, especially too, because he had that glorious opportunity, in the second period and didn't score, but he gave us a solid game, and you'd love to see when guys get rewarded like that, and he did. I mean, that's all in jest what I'm saying, but he deserved it, and good for him.
You talked earlier about how
It's John Cooper. Our thanks to Bally Sports for that right there. So a big win for the Lightning, 7-zip. And as I mentioned, they have the Rangers coming up on Thursday night. That should be fun. And really, a real test. You win this game 7-0. The Islanders now are just 2 points behind you with 2 games in hand. So everything is absolutely critical, and we'll see how they fare in these next 2 games. All right, quick break. When we come back, Chris Lugo is going to join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you have any questions about your health, the immune system, testosterone, nutrition, whatever, Drop them in the comment section. We'll hit them next. Back in 3 with Chris Lugo. Stay with us. JP here from my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta. Big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Is getting a home equity line a good idea right now with rates so high? Well, I put that question to my good friend Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services, and he says it all depends on where you're at financially. Many of us with ridiculous inflation have been charging up those credit cards, right, at 29% interest, hoping to catch up, but that ain't happening. Those interest payments are killing you. So yes, a consolidation loan and tapping into that crazy equity in your house is a great idea. That strategy can drop your monthly nut by thousands of dollars and stop wasting money on those interest payments. Fitz, the mortgage guy, has done thousands of loans for the past 25 years in Tampa Bay. Just did one for a former colleague who was a manager for a big bank mortgage division. He knows Scott is an independent broker and can get him a way better deal than at his own big bank. AMS Tampa has way lower overhead and gives you the savings. So if you're worried about fees and closing costs, have the free consultation with Scott and look at the actual numbers. It may shock you what he can do. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722. American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Hampton.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Great folks over there. Charity helps me out so much with the insurance claim that I just had. So when you're looking for insurance, folks, you don't have to get on these 1-800 numbers and call and sit on hold. Let them do all the work while you save all the money. 813-877-7799. That's Italiano Insurance. All right, want to welcome in our good friend Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. What's up, my friend? How are you on this beautiful Monday?
Nice and cool outside. I like the weather.
Oh, so nice. Well, we've been having Testosterone Tuesdays. So I need to probably just start having you come on Tuesday because we got that. It's a great brand for you. Testosterone.
I call it Testicular Tuesday, but that's okay. We can call it Testosterone Tuesday.
Well, what's the significance of that? Testicular Tuesday. Just
Testicle
busting people's
Tuesday.
balls? Okay, all right.
Guys don't remember to inject on Tuesdays. Testicle Tuesday.
That's what I'm doing now. I'm like, I switched from, when I miss a day, because usually I'm like a day late. So now I started on Fridays. Now I'm working up to Tuesdays. So tomorrow's shot day on
Good.
Testosterone Tuesday, right before the show. So we get nice and juiced up.
There you go.
By the way, really had a good day on Thursday out at the Aramco Team Series event, played in the Pro-Am. Didn't quite get to the long drive, but busted a couple right near the 300 number. So I'm getting my swing is catching up to my strength, which is good.
There you go. Not bad for a mature guy.
That's right. If you're 60 and you can hit it almost 300, that's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Not too shabby, as they say. All right. So tell me, we're going to talk a little bit about testosterone. What's new in the world of testosterone? What's going on? I did see an ad the other day and I'm like, oh, that's probably bad. It was like $49 for testosterone a month. Like, I'm like, that's probably not really good, high quality stuff, right? Like,
well, you know me. First of all, I don't charge a subscription base for testosterone.
No, you don't.
A vial is $95. That's going to last you 90 days. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I'm overcharging you for testosterone. That's ridiculous. That's the big thing. But, one thing that you and I have talked about is I use specifically a blended testosterone that not many compound pharmacies have. Cypionate, enanthate, propionate, Ford, Chevy, Volvo in there, which you don't get that up and down feeling. What I love to address is a lot of the older guys, if you're greater than 40, you're considered older. I hate to tell you. Yeah. But cypionate, which is the most common one out there, it's notorious for sodium retention. And what follows sodium is water. All right. Mm-hmm. So you're over 40. You should not be doing cypionate straight. You're going to get a lot more water weight gain, water weight bloat with that. That's why I love this tri-blend a lot. And then everyone talks about injecting twice a week. You don't get that up and down feeling. They're talking about straight cypionate. With this blend that we've been using, like you don't get that up and down feeling. You don't need to inject multiple times unless you like being a pincushion. I do have some guys who microdose. My dad's one of them. Like he likes to do smaller. He doesn't like an IM injection. He likes a sub-Q injection 3 times a week. Good for him. I don't like being a pincushion, but some guys don't mind it. But you have alternatives for it too.
Well, that's good. And that's something we talk about with you all the time. It's personal for everybody.
It is.
So you make, whatever you can tailor make it for whatever people want. I personally, with the tri-blend that you have, I never get those up and down feelings. Like I never get, unless I run out or something stupid I do. Yeah. I never get that. And that's key. That's really key. Cause I've been doing this for, I think 7 years now. And I've been in that situation where I think it was one of the old ones I had was just the cypionate because I got the bloating and I got, the up and down feeling. So it's definitely a difference maker. No question.
The only recommendation I'd have is don't go to a clinic or a center that gets you into pellets right out of the gate. Don't do it. Like I've been doing pellets of testosterone since 2009.
Right.
I like to think I have a little bit of experience with it. I've never, ever, ever in my career put someone in pellets right out of the gate because if you don't like how that testosterone makes you feel, you own it. They're yours.
Right.
Yeah. And I had a guy here recently I got from another clinic, and that's what they did. First time out of the gate, threw pellets in him. And he says, Chris, like I wanted to come out of my skin for the first couple of months. Like I was anxious all the time. Like that's a reason why I don't like to do that. He's the poster child. Does it happen with every person? It doesn't, but it takes one person to change your ways. And so I've never done that in my career. So don't buy into the hype of you need pellets. Pellets are just only about convenience, nothing more.
And explain the whole procedure too, because it's so much more involved.
It is. It's not crazy. I mean, I have a general surgery background, but to me, it's not a big deal. It's a small little 4 millimeter incision. I call it a puncture wound. Then first you numb it up first, right? It goes on the glute region. I like to put it high on the glute. I think it's the best fat spot. Most guys will tell you it won't hurt them when if they put it on their sides. Guys will complain about seatbelts bothering them. So I put it high on the glute, and then you put a trocar. It's pretty long underneath in that fat layer, and you drop about roughly. I like to put in 2,000 milligrams of pellets, and the reason why is because I want them to last.
Right.
It's not a big deal for you, but when you come back to me 3 years later, 4 years later, and we're going back to that right glute for the 4th, 5th time, I'm experiencing a lot more scar tissue going underneath plenum.
Right.
I don't want to put a whole bunch of darts all over your butt. I try to go in the same area.
Right.
Make it look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Important.
I don't like to go all over the place, but it's a lot more scar tissue. And you will develop scar tissue over time. Not if, but when.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very important because when you're hanging out at the nudist place You want to make sure everything looks good.
Well,
not you personally.
I actually was trying to do a deal with Caliente back in the day, and I'm like, and that was one thing. I'm like, I'm not putting doom pellets here because I don't want people getting in the pool and then getting infection. No way, not happening. That was almost a deal breaker with them. Like, I wouldn't introduce pellets to them. I'm like, I'm not doing them here.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No,
I just, the injections, I think for some people are like scary, but it gets so routine. And the needles are so like small. It doesn't hurt.
I have females on needles. I mean, females doing injectables. They'd rather do injectables than topicals.
Come on, guys.
It's easier for them.
Yeah. Well, that's and again, let's go over the benefits too, and maybe the signs that maybe a guy's experiencing that he needs testosterone.
Yeah. So it's the Adams questionnaire is what we use. Talks about your mood, your cognitive function, less enjoyment of life, difficulty recovering from workouts, erectile dysfunction. If you're not waking up every single morning with an erection, you're not getting that nocturnal erection, you have ED, whether you like to admit to it or not. It's
every
ED.
morning. Every morning. I mean, I do
every morning. Every morning.
I just thought it was Ashley.
Every morning you should begin. If that's not happening, you get the beginning stages. Testosterone will help with that also. Helps with.
There's a lot of guys that just went, what? Holy crap.
Right. ED, it's a big thing.
Your phone should be ringing off the hook.
Correct. It's going to help with lean muscle mass. And that's the big thing we talked about.
Yeah.
Retaining lean muscle mass as you age. If you came into me and your thyroid wasn't functioning, people would want to put you on Synthroid, right? They want to get that thyroid and you'd be on it for life, right? Same thing with this. So I get lots of guys going, hey, I want to keep my natural T. You're more than welcome to, but good luck. Unless you've got someone paying you to go to the gym and work out every single day and sleep 8 hours a night, it's going to be difficult for you to do. So,
and that's, I think a lot of people are like, well, I feel healthy, so I don't need testosterone. And the bottom line is, if you're eating an American diet and you're living in America and you're, even younger than 30, if you're at least 30 years old, you're probably a little low. And if not, maybe a lot low. So
yeah.
I was shocked when I first went in and got my first testosterone test. I was like, oh my God. And that and then I look back at the symptoms. I'm like, yeah, of course. Duh. So
if you're a guy and you're snoring at nighttime, there's a good chance that you have low T because you're not getting good restful sleep.
Right.
And same thing for my ladies. My ladies don't realize that testosterone is their most prominent hormone. Not everyone, the vast majority of people say, oh, it's estrogen, it's progesterone. It's actually testosterone. They're just measured
for ladies too.
Scales. So ladies, testosterone is your most prominent. So if you are decreased in libido, your recoveries aren't so great, your brain fog going on, it more than likely could be a T issue with you also. So don't forget the ladies also.
Interesting. Oh, interesting. Get tested. And just go to BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your appointment, get the script.
And make sure you're checking your free T, not your total T, free T. Stop talking about total T. It's about your free T because of sex hormone binding globulin. That's very important. Everyone's still stuck circa 2000s looking at total T.
Yeah, and here's another thing. There may be people out there, well, I have a primary care physician. I can't go see Chris. Well, yeah, you can. You work in conjunction with primary care physicians and people's insurance, and they go get their labs done, get that other stuff that's covered.
Right.
And yeah, it's a great idea because those, we say this all the time, those other people, they're fine doctors. They just don't have the time. They're not given the time.
The blinders on, right?
Yeah. So it's not anything negative. It's just they don't have the time. They're in the corporate medicine. They're not going to be able to spend an hour with you like you do.
No.
So that makes a big difference. All right, my friend. Always good checking in with you.
Thanks,
we'll maybe next week on Testosterone Tuesday.
Let's do it.
All right. Make a date.
Talk to you then.
Appreciate it. The great Chris Lugo right there. See, I learned something every time right there. Yeah. The ladies need the testosterone as well. Get your ladies involved in that. All right. Anything else here that we got to go over? Oh, USF had their 15-game losing or winning streak stopped by Tulsa over the weekend. They lost 76-70, so they will head into the tournament. This might be a blessing in disguise. Probably going to hurt them when it comes, obviously, their net ranking. But, now go win the tournament, get into the dance. They're 23-6, 16-2. They're the regular season AAC champs, but they only shot 30%. So that's a big problem right there. So the tournament, the AAC tournament, is in Fort Worth. They don't know their first round. They will get a first round bye and play his first game on Friday. So there you go. We'll be looking. And unfortunately, a double dose of bad news for USF fans over the weekend. Carter Knox, is it Carter? What's his first name? Anyway, Kevin Knox's son chose Kentucky over USF, unfortunately. So he will, Carter Knox, unfortunately, will not be playing for the Bulls. They were close. So getting better. That's a good thing. And the Rays finished their weekend in the Dominican Republic. And the bad news is Johnny DeLuca broke his hand. So he's out 4 to 6 weeks, but he'll be back at some particular time. Maybe we'll see Ahmed Rosario making the squad and playing a little bit more outfield. All right. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me today as I went solo. Not a bad job producing today, I thought. Not all in all. So you guys have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow for Testosterone Tuesday, and we'll have the usual appearances by Scott Reynolds and some of the other folks, TJ Reeves, and we'll be talking more Baker Mayfield. So we will see you then. Have a great day, everybody.